Let's be honest. A lot of us do not want to live the average lifestyle. We don't want to become the average man. We don't want to drive the average car. The lifestyle we want for ourselves is a lot more far-fetched than that. We want to have a fulfilled lifestyle, but we don't want to have the traditional life path. We want to own our own businesses. We want to travel the world. We want to explore. We just don't want to have to do the same thing every single day for the rest of our lives. We don't want to have to clock in and out every single day and then get paid every 2 weeks. That's just not the lifestyle that we want to live. There's nothing wrong with living the average lifestyle. There's people that really do enjoy it and they're fulfilled. And it also just depends on how much you want out of life. There are certain men that want to have the highest level of experience in every aspect of their life. But the issue is, even though a lot of us have this desire, majority of the men will still live that average life. And you're going to wonder why. And it honestly boils down to one reason. It's because you're scared. You're too scared to go out and try something new. You're too scared to break societal norms. You're scared about what other people will think about you. And most of all, you're scared you'll fail. If you think that it's going to be easy, it's definitely not. Do you think that it'll be worth it afterwards? That's up to you to decide. Even if you are scared, you have to think about the long-term picture and whether or not you're willing to even attempt your dream. You have to think about if what you're doing now will be scary, of you not following what either your friends are doing or what most kids your age are doing. You need to consider whether you doing the actions to get there will be more scary, or the fact that you'll never even have the opportunity to have that dream lifestyle that you want because you were just too scared to even try. And you will never know if you even had a chance of living it simply because you were too scared to follow your own ambitions. You have to kind of think about that and just decide which part of the spectrum you'd rather be on. Yeah, it's scary to go through those obstacles and go through that pathway, but it is even more scary to not give it a shot at all and let your emotions dictate exactly how you act. In order to overcome your emotions and put yourself in the best possibility to be successful and actually live that dream lifestyle that you desire, there are a few things you want to keep in mind and strategize in order to have the best probability of succeeding. First thing you need to do, you have to keep quality company. The people that you surround yourself with will have a huge influence on whether you make it or not. You need to surround yourself with people that are like-minded and have similar goals and ambitions as you do. They don't have to be exactly the same, but in terms of the lifestyle, it has to be very similar. They should also want to have the finer things in life. They should also want to have their own businesses and deal with the most attractive possible women. Whatever it is you crave in your life, they should have the same desires, relatively the same. If you think that by hanging out with all people that work 9 to 5s and drive Hondas, that you will somehow become a wealthy businessman and drive a Ferrari, it doesn't work like that. Your friends' jobs are to kind of keep each other in line. You and other competitive males should work together and be somewhat competitive within yourself too. If you see your buddy doing 200 million a year in profits, congratulate him. Obviously be happy for him, and also try to do a little more than him. Just have that friendly competition going, and it honestly just brings out the best within you. Because if you see him pushing himself, you're going to want to push yourself too. Your friends will not accept your low performances. Yeah, they might happen every once in a while. You might have a bad month, or you might have a bad year even, but your friends will be there for you. They'll pick you up emotionally and just push you to do better things. But if your friends are not even installing the belief within you, it's going to be difficult for you to push past those hard moments. Initially, it'll be easy for you to have that self-belief, but there are hardships in life. There are many obstacles that come with starting your own business. So if you get into a mudslide and you think it's over now, you might get a lawsuit against your business, or you might get a copyright claim. There's so many things that could happen that can turn your up-pending business to a down-pending one. And if you're not surrounded with the people that can talk you out of it or give you the advice you need to hear, you might just give up on yourself and ultimately just try to go back to your old lifestyle and prove everybody right that said you didn't have the ability to work remote or have your own business. And it's just not where you want to be. There are going to be moments where your friends also need your help and they need your advice, and you have to give it to them to the best of your ability. You guys have to work very openly with one another. The ability to bounce off ideas, the ability to just have a company that you know is up in the elite level of men will allow you to become one of those too. Because if you're an average of the 5 people you hang out with and you hang out with 5 ballers, chances are you're destined to have that. You're destined to have some level of success. Even if it's not necessarily to their extent, it will be relatively high compared to the remaining population. And that's just a good place to have your floor at. The worst you could possibly be will still be in the top few percentile of men. If you have 4 really good friends that are all benefiting from one another and working towards achieving the lifestyle that you want as well, but then there's that one kid that you've known since high school who for some reason never got his act together. Well, you guys all might have partied together in high school, but now the 4 of you are on track to scale businesses and work to become employers and just have a good future for you guys. But that one friend, he never changed, and he's kind of just been mooching off you guys and just hopping on for the ride and just being there with you guys without having to work on himself or create a business for himself. The issue with that is eventually he might try to take away from you guys a little too much, or he might just become a burden. You have to understand that you are only as good as your weakest link. If someone exposes his weakness, your group is in trouble, and there's a good chance that the empire you guys all built crumbles down. You have to let him go. Even though he's your good friend and you've known him for years, I'm sure you have really good memories with him, and you might have even have met his family. You have to tell him straight up that if he doesn't get his act together, that he will no longer be welcomed within your group. Not saying you don't want him to succeed, it's just that you don't want him eating at your table. I know it's difficult, but you have to protect your future with the best of your ability. It's not worth it to have that liability in your life. The next thing that you have to seriously consider is sacrifice. People always see the super rich and wealthy people driving these nice cars and these super big houses, always traveling, but what you guys don't see is the difference in work week hours. The average person is working 40 hours a week, Monday through Friday, and as soon as they get out of work, they go home, they take off their shoes, they crack open a beer and lay down on the couch until they pass out, watching TV or something, just playing in the background. You don't have that luxury, my guy. You don't have that amount of leisure time that you can spend. Yeah, you have to take breaks and you have to focus on your mental health and make sure that you don't burn out. However, if you think you have the luxury of just relaxing for 4 hours after your 8-hour shift, it doesn't work like that. You're going to have to be working at least 12 hours a day, maybe 6 to 7 days a week for a few years to really get the ball rolling. This sacrifice seems like a lot, and it definitely is, but if you really love what you're doing and you really are passionate about fulfilling your dream, and if you really think that your dreams of either a business or whatever company you want to start will bring a significant amount of reward to not only your life but to other people's life as well, you will be willing to make that sacrifice. And to be completely honest, there's not that many fun things to do besides working on your craft. Think about it. What do most people do after a long week at work? They go to a bar, they go to a club, they go to a party, something like that, where they go and celebrate, they get drunk, or they do drugs and they come home super late and wake up late the next day, and then that day is kind of messed up because they're hungover, they can't really focus on their work anymore. So once you've experienced enough of that lifestyle, which I'm probably sure you have back when you were younger, you don't really feel the need to go through that motion as often as majority of the people do. So even though you are sacrificing your time going out with your buddies or your time going out to a pub or something, it's really not that big of a deal. But it's just when you see it on social media, when you see your friends posting it, or when you see marketing ads for a new club that opened up nearby, and you can't just go out every week like you used to, that's something that you're gonna have to just become okay with. If you really need to take that one break and go out, it should only be once every 2 months maximum. It should really be 8 weeks of hard work, and then you have that night out to kind of just recoup and regather yourself. And you know, if you really want to have that fun, then go out that night. But going out once a week, that's no longer an option. Anybody that says they can do that and have a fully maximized business does not really make sense at all, because you have to understand how much goes into just that one night. You have to get ready to go out, then you're spending money, you wake up late the next morning, you're probably hungover. It's just, there's so much that compounds into it that just doesn't make it feasible for you anymore to go to. Other sacrifices that you might have to make will be leisure time activities, playing video games. If you're still playing video games, man, and you're not monetizing it, I think that's crazy. You shouldn't be spending your time on video games because they just don't bring any value to you. It's just a way to just escape reality that honestly I think is a waste of time. It's not good for you. It just forces you to be antisocial, and with all the time you're probably behind technology anyway, your leisure activity should not be with a screen in front of you, if I'm being completely honest. The last thing that you need to keep in mind is to simply not put a time limit on your success. I've seen so many people do this before, and honestly, I was a victim of it a few years prior. I really wanted to be a fashion influencer, and I'd post videos on TikTok, I'd post fits on Instagram, but then I wasn't seeing the reactions that I wanted. I wasn't getting the amount of followers or likes that I wanted, so I just kind of gave up on it. But I'm fortunate now that I found a new passion, and I found my purpose to make self-improvement content for you guys. So definitely glad about that, and this is a dream that I'm not willing to give up on. Whether it takes 1 year, 5 years, 10 years, eventually I will hit 1 million subscribers, and I will be able to help men all across the world. And that's just a dream I'm willing to fight for, I'm willing to put in the time, and I'm simply going to be patient for it. Even if not all my videos pop off the same way on the algorithm, if I don't get the same amount of likes on one video, it's okay. And it's just a way for me to understand that you have to really work for your dreams. And I know we see this all the time, of people getting rich overnight or people getting super lucky on a certain investment, but oftentimes in order to really see success in an area that isn't necessarily like scripted out, it's going to take time. A lot of businesses take 10 years. It could take a decade easily for any business or for any entrepreneur to really get himself rolling. And it's just something you have to be okay with. Once you fall in love with the grind, it's just the days that are long but the years are short. And it's over time, it's worth it. I get to have my own brand. I get to have influence on other people. I have the ability to change lives. And even if I have to wait some time for it, I don't see the big deal with that. I think it makes it more fun that way. Imagine if I got the satisfaction of being a successful YouTuber in 1 hour or in 1 day. I wouldn't cherish it as much as I would if it takes me 10 years to really get popping. It's just a trade-off that you have to understand. And if you want that instant gratification, take a simpler route. Take a 9 to 5 somewhere, and then get a girlfriend, get married with her, have kids, and just kind of chill. But my lifestyle, I don't want it to be like that. I want to be able to travel the world. I want to be able to experience different cultures, try exotic cuisines, meet a bunch of different people. And the only way I can do that if I have the ability to. And I see myself being able to do this through having a positive YouTube channel. I'll be able to live the dream lifestyle I want, and I'll be able to afford the luxuries of my choice and be able to share that moment with people I genuinely care about. I want to travel. I want to go on those big podcasts that you guys see now with all those high value males, and I can't do that any other way. If this is truly my dream, I will stick to it, and I will put in the work. I will put in the time. I will put in the years. I'll make the sacrifices that I need to do, and I will have myself surrounded by the right people.